have a standby period where you have to be available to work on short notice?
We do. We have rostered live days, which are days where you're on call for a period of 12 hours,
Right.
but you do those days at home. You can denominate those days to be available. So I guess in a term, to explain it to you better, they're incentive pay days.
Right.
If you're one that doesn't want to chase the money, you'll denominate them. So those days will count towards your monthly hours.
Sorry, if you denominate them,
Correct.
they'll count towards your monthly
Correct.
hours. And if you don't denominate them, they're overtime or something, are they?
Well, you get your hourly rate of pay on top of your base pay if you do not denominate them, but that means your hours that you work on those days don't count towards your monthly totals. So you could do an extra 40 to 50 hours depending on how many of those days you are allocated at roster build on top of your contracted hours.
Yeah, per 28-day cycle, you mean?
We're on a monthly cycle of 30 days.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Mr. Chairman.
Chair, I've got a couple more questions if I may. Some might say that this is just part and parcel of the job, backup clock, long hours occasionally, or is it a case of that it's gone too far in some cases? How do you characterise it amongst your peers?
That it's gone too far.
With foreign cabin crew, I think they can be on those sectors that are on their way to Singapore or whatever. Is that right? Do you have foreign trained cabin crew on Jetstar flights, domestic flights?
Foreign training cabin crew?
Yeah.
So do you mean that are they training on our domestic sectors?
Yeah. Well, you have foreign cabin crew on Jetstar flights, correct?
Correct.
Right. Are they trained at Australian ground schools or are they trained overseas?
Memory serves correctly. They're trained. I don't think they're trained in Australia. No.
No, but that's something we can check with Jetstar. Sure. But is there any differential in your understanding in the level of training for cabin crew that are based overseas compared to cabin crew that are based here domestically?
It's my personal opinion that the requirements are not as strict as the requirements for cabin crew that are employed or the training that's done in Australia, because there's been a lot of complaints that, for example, like the English isn't up to scratch. They haven't been taught as thoroughly as the crew that were recruited from here and trained here.
Then again, you have foreign cabin crew who have impeccable communication and English language skills.
Of course,
well.
there are.
Yep. Just finally, what changes would you and your peers, because I understand you've had a number of your peers that have spoken to you about you giving evidence today.
Yep. What
sort of practical changes would you like to see?
More realistic rostering for cabin crew, shorter duties, possibly breaking up those back of the clocks and overnighting us, and just a fair and equitable distribution of the longer duties across the board.
What's the morale like amongst your colleagues?
Morale? I would say it's a very toxic workplace at the moment. So very low.
Okay.
Is that as much to do about a safe, stable job as anything else?
I'm sorry, Senator?
Is it as much to do about a safe, stable job as anything else? Is that what people are worried about?
I don't understand your question.
Security of employment in a safe working environment, is that the issue?
Security of employment in a safe working environment. It is the issue.
Well, if it's not the issue, what is? What's the key issue?
Well, we love our jobs. We'd like to hold on to our jobs. We don't want it to be this hard and don't understand why it has to be this hard. We would like for our employers to maybe listen as we voice our concerns and work with us to building a happier workplace and having a safer work environment.
So it would be fair to say, well, not for everyone, but generally people are happy to work for Qantas and Jetstar or whoever. You need the stability of the job but you feel the working conditions are not safe?
We need a work-life and personal life balance and a safer workplace back to the workers. That's what we'd like.
Because of the fatigue issue, I take. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct.
And so that then comes into the balance between what you do when you're not at work and what you do
Correct.
at work. And do some people manage that better than others, do you think?
I think that you're always going to have people that manage certain aspects of a job better than other people. I think that's just common in life. But I would say on this issue of fatigue, I'd say that we're all pretty much on the same side. And it doesn't range in age differences, like it's not felt less amongst the younger flight attendants compared to the elder flight attendants. It's felt across the board.
Yeah, well, I have to say I'd much prefer to fly in Jetstar and Qantas than American Airlines, but anyhow, that's just my observation. Senator O'Brien?
No, that's
Senator Xenophon?
Thank you for your evidence.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, I guess that concludes this hearing. Thank you very much for everyone for your attendance. Thank you to the staff up there and the Secretariat. We'll see what happens.